think travel is in a real strange place at the moment, because they've announced that there's a tokenomics document that's going to be released on Monday, and so I think what we're experiencing now is anticipation of the new tokenomics proposals, and I think a lot of people are just anticipating that and waiting and waiting. So I think the price action now is quite indecisive, and I think we're range bound as well. So let me see where we are. Yeah. We're stuck actually right now between this level here, which I've marked out as weekly level, and I think we're just stuck underneath that level, and this lower level that I've marked out called the daily level here. So this is our range right now, and it's, I mean, in the scale of things, it's not a small range. I mean, we're talking about a 7% price action difference between the bottom to the top, and from the top to the bottom we're talking, yeah, 7% both ways. Yeah, this is fundamentally where our range is, and I think potentially to go up, we need to go up and flip this into support. That will be the next level. So that's kind of what I'm imagining. I think this, all of this price action is in anticipation of the tokenomics that's going to be released soon, and then I think we're going to have a reaction. Now, no one can predict the reaction. No one knows how the price is going to react. No one knows what people are going to think. Are people going to just this? I think we're in a really decisive moment for the whole project, because this is a Web3 project. This is crypto we're talking about. This isn't a traditional Web2 project. We're not looking to go out there and get rounds of investments from venture capitalists. Crypto is our capital, and whether crypto finds this project attractive or not will determine the future and the fate of Dtravel. It's a completely different way of seeing things and looking at things, and the first part of the capital will come from the people who are already involved. So I think we have enough people involved to really augment the price of this token beyond the current level, because it wouldn't take much to take the price up in terms of people's investments. You know, if you think about how every host has a property or owns multiple properties, and the amount of value that's in their physical real world investment, and then if you think about how much of that value is in comparison to the amount of tokens that they have, that will give you an idea of how much more this token value can grow just by the people who are already involved, if the people who are already involved see value in the token. And so that's our first challenge. Our first challenge is going to be to convince and to persuade our own community. And I don't imagine our community is that large. I think our community might be in the small thousands, maybe 2,000 or something like that. I was looking on Etherscan and I saw that it said there was like 2,000. Let me have a look at it now. Let's have a look. TRVL holders. See, when I was looking at this yesterday, it's a 2002. So we have 3 more holders. That's not much at all. That's very low, very low. And let me have a look at BSC scan. Let me see if I can get data on that as well. TRVL. Does it give me the holders? So look, so on BSC we have 6,869 holders. You see that? It's up 0.015%. And on Etherscan we have 2,000. So in total we have 8,874 holders of TRVL according to the number of wallets that have TRVL in those wallets. And when I'm thinking about the token value and the number of tokens in supply, so when you look at the CoinGecko tokenomics for TRVL, like it says circulating supply 291 million, right? Now not all of that is circulating because a large portion of that is in the treasury, a large portion of that is in the community growth fund. I don't have those figures. I don't know who has those figures. I would love those figures to be somewhere on the website, and if someone could look at this, Dtravel seminars, if someone could tell me where I could find that, that would be amazing, because I think this is part of the problem that we have with Dtravel and the TRVL token is transparency. Yeah, this does not mean anything to me. I don't understand this. Yeah, what does this mean? No one really understands what this means, but it does say that 20% is in foundation reserve, 25% is in community treasury, 25% is in the community growth fund. I don't know how much of that is spent. I don't know how much of that is remaining. I don't know if that's the full amount. Is that the 1 billion? Is that the 700 million that's left? I don't know anything. Like, this is very vague information. Yeah, how much of that is locked up? You know, there's a lot of things wrong with this, and this hasn't been updated for a long time either. So there's a lot of problems here. There's a lack of transparency when it comes to the tokens. Very significant lack of transparency. And I think at the moment, this part of what needs to be rectified is this, the information. And it needs to be formulated in a way that will give future investors confidence in what's being built and everything else that surrounds this. Yeah, so all of this makes sense. This is fine, but ultimately we're trying to attract capital from the crypto capital markets, and a large portion of that capital is being dispersed right now as we speak. Yeah, and we're talking about multiple billions and billions and billions of value that's coming into this market. And so if we are unable to attract that value, then we're doing something wrong, despite doing everything right. And so we have to rise up to accepting our failures, and then also rising up to the challenge of rectifying those failures. So I think there's a lot of things going on. But when I read of this, Dtravel Crypto provides travel and hospitality booking platforms across the Night protocol, assisting non-Dtravel direct powered booking websites. There's a lot, it's so complicated. I don't really understand. What does that even mean? It's really difficult to understand. The guest, direct payment, property smart contract, commission free, Dtravel crypto, operator, travel rewards. I just don't understand what any of this means. Guests, Dtravel stays, Night protocol, operator. What's Night protocol? Now I have to go and find out what Night protocol is. Dtravel Meridian, guest, ownership over travel history, unified reputation, peer-to-peer, OTA, Night protocol. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people understand what's going on with Dtravel, but I know what they do see. They see this and they don't, and it's very vague. This is very clear for me that this is quite vague. So this, I think, needs to be made transparent initially. And yeah, so let's say based on this that 25%, 50%, 70% is locked away. So if you can imagine that 70% is locked away, you can imagine that the 30% is in circulation. And if you can imagine that that means that 290 million divided by times 30%, 291 million. Just doing on the calculator now, I'll tell you if I can find the percentage sign. So only according to if only 30% is in actual circulation, that means there's only 87 million tokens in circulation. 87 million tokens, right? So that's not many. Because the assumption is that 70% is locked away, because it's either in the community treasury, the community growth fund, or the foundation reserve, and we don't know how much of that's been spent. We don't really have accurate data, so there's a lot of vagueness here. And I think it's very I think as a DAO there needs to be 100% transparency in the finances. As a participant of the DAO, I want to see transparency in the finances. I want to know how things are being spent. I want to participate. I want to give my opinion, and I think everyone has that right. Otherwise, it's not a DAO. Yeah. So we have to make that decision now. Are we going to be a DAO or not? And if we are, then certain things have to change. And this is one of those things. I need transparency in finances, and I need transparency in decision making, and the community actually should have a greater input in the direction of Dtravel. And this is paramount. And I think what we're seeing in the charts is indecision and anticipation. And the other thing we're seeing in the charts is that every single rise in value has been sold into. Every single rise in value has been sold into, right? Every single rise in value has been sold into. That's what we're seeing, okay? And we need to change that behavior. And part of the reason why we're experiencing that behavior is because no one fundamentally believes that this token is going to $25. I think if people believe that, not only would they not sell it, they would buy more. And so that we have to answer those questions, and we have to be very serious about how we go about answering those questions. if people really believe that a 3 cent token was going to $25, they would be buying as much as they could if they could see the future, and if they could believe in the future that was being built, or the future that was being created by the team. Then there's no way that this would remain at this price for such a period of time. You would have a significant injection in volume if people were sure and were given that, had the confidence of that. And part of the reason they don't is because of these things, you know, is because they don't, like, people don't necessarily understand what's going on. And, you know, I'm making videos to try and share some aspects of the back end and the process, but fundamentally it is true that the rewards are insignificant compared to my effort. I've said that very publicly, and that needs to change. There's no reflection of value from the physical network that's being built into the value of the token. Now, I don't think we can change that just by creating some buzzwords like, and like making like night tokens or dusk. What is that? An industry driven, flexible, simple and future proof, domain specific, knowledgeable representation language. What the hell is that? Like, this is just, we have to make it simple for people to understand. I think now what's happening is we're adding these layers of complexity, and we think that by making it more complicated, making the language more elongated, adding more and more adjectives, that somehow people are gonna think that we're smart and we know what we're doing and they're gonna come and invest. That's not how it works. I think the most important thing we can do now is to simplify everything so that everyone can understand what's going on. Everyone can understand where the value is coming from and how the tokenomics works. It has to be simple. That's how I feel. Nothing that I'm experiencing on this website right now is simple. It's very complicated. Now, it may be complicated, but we have to simplify it. And if we can't simplify it, then we have to, at the very least, try. But at the very best, we have to put it in layman's terms so that people understand. And I think a lot of the people who wrote this, obviously they've been working hard and they've been involved in the project for a very long time. So they see it from their own perspective, and for them it makes sense. But when I actually sat down today and I was talking to my sister about Dtravel, and she came to the gate event that we held in London, I was trying to explain it to her. She didn't understand. I was trying to explain it to her in layman terms. She didn't get it. And this is the problem. And we've just made it really complicated. Dtravel Meridian. Own your travel history, build a reputation, monetize your experiences, collect proof of travels. You know, there's a lot of things. Your Meridian profile is filled with NFT stamps that represent your travel history, creating a unique system for reputation, credentials, and rewards. Own your travel history, monetize your experiences, join travelers from around the world in collecting proof of travel stamps. I think we've really complicated it. We have a lot of really pretty pages, and I don't know how that can, all of this ties into the tokenomics, which is really right now what we need to focus on. And that's how we're going to attract capital into this project, which is going to increase the value of the token, and then the DAO can release their tokens and invest more in developing this and making this bigger. So I think we're at a very critical stage right now, and I think a lot of it is anticipation. And obviously we've had a big sell-off when the price went up, and now there's indecision in the way the price is moving, and the volume is dropping off. the volume is decreasing. Now we have 3 weeks potentially of decreasing volume. And actually what we need now is increasing volume to push the price up. That's what we need. We need increasing volume. We need this to go up now. I think it's fair to say that everyone wants this to go up now. And unless we can address the problems of the tokenomics, unless we can attract volume, and that's new capital, and the capital is coming from the crypto markets, then I think people are going to get very disillusioned, and they may start selling, you know, and this is a concern. So I think it's important that the team at Dtravel pay attention to what's happening. And I think that this is a danger. Like, going down is a danger. Like, what happens if we start going down now? What happens if we lose this lower trend line that I've got? You know, then what? I don't think we want to see this trend line lost. I think it'd be very difficult to get back above it if we lose that trend line. It'd be very difficult to get back above it. And right now, we, in our current trajectory of the way the price is moving, we're going to get to this trend line by the beginning of February and through to the end of the end of February. Basically, that's the time horizon that we have, depending on how this price moves. Obviously, if the price goes back down, then that time horizon comes closer. And just looking at the price action, I don't necessarily want us to lose this lower blue line either. And so this is quite a serious concern. And also when it comes to fib time, I already described fib time, which says that we came out of the lows on time, and there's another fib time coming on the 22nd of March. And ideally what you want is, we need the price to be higher up by then, so that when it gets to that point, we can go up. That's really what you want. That's the kind of behavior that would make sense. Yeah. And then alternatively, this would also make sense if the price, somehow we lost this green trend line, the price came up to fib time to reject. That would also make sense too. So you have two types of behavior that could make sense on fib time. And I think we have to be very aware of that. And so the tokenomics ideas are coming on Monday. I think I'm going to make a video on my ideas of the tokenomics this weekend, probably tomorrow or maybe Monday morning. I don't know exactly when, because I have an idea which I made in a video before, and I would like to share that with the community of travelers, of TRVLers. And in my mind, I'm thinking that it has to be extremely simple. It has to be easy to understand, and it has to add maximum utility and value to the token, so that people are looking to not sell it but hold it for a long period of time. That's what I'm thinking. And in my mind, there's nothing better than Bitcoin. In my mind, that's the model that you would start with. You'd go back to Bitcoin and then implement that model, and then later on you can start to tweak it in a very kind of controlled and slow manner. I think that would be the best way to do this personally. And I've when I look at the website and when I look at these kind of concepts, when it comes to Dtravel and Meridian and all these kind of stuff, I'm not sure. I think we're at a really decisive point in the way, and one thing I've learned about charts is that they always tell you what's going on. They always tell you everything. You don't even need to look at what's happening in the world. The charts will tell you what's happening in the world. And it's very clear that right now there's a lot of anticipation for what's about to happen. And we've got, the price has got itself in this really tight range. Now, I think it's bullish for many reasons. We're above previous levels. We're in this kind of middle range of this lower range, but we're not seeing an increase in volume. And obviously that's a question. And based on my calculations, there should only be about, based on my calculations, there only should be about 87 million tokens in circulation. It's not very difficult for the price to go up. It's not very difficult at all for the price to go up, because that's not a significant amount of tokens at the current price. Based on my calculation, 87 million tokens would be roughly about $2.6 million worth of value in circulation at the current price. It's not a significant amount of value in the terms of the whole crypto market. The whole crypto market right now is trading at $1.7 trillion. So I think what's going to happen with the tokenomics is going to be absolutely pivotal. And I think the price can only react one of two ways. It can either go up or it can go down. If we go down, then this is the kind of behavior that I'll be looking for. Yeah, we'd probably go down, looking for more liquidity to see if there's any demand lower down. This is the thing. Yeah, if we go down, if people start selling, because we've obviously had an accumulation here. This is accumulation. But if people don't respond well to the tokenomics, they're going to start selling, you know. And if the price starts going down, then people will wait until the price goes down and settles. And maybe people are looking for lower. Maybe we're looking for lower because, and that will be a real reflection of what people think of the tokenomics. Now, if the price goes up, that would also, you know, that would be bullish. And so I think there's a bit of we're at a critical point now. And I think when I look at everything to do with Dtravel, I think the most important thing we can do now is be transparent about the tokenomics and about the supply and about the finances and how the value is being allocated, how much of that is in circulation, how much of that is being spent, etc. And also about the roadmap and the ecosystem and understanding how that gives value. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that need to be simplified when it comes to Dtravel right now. And so, yeah, so we just have to wait and see how this pans out. And so we're at a really important time. I think what people need to do is try to participate in giving their opinions in the Telegram. I think this is going to be really important going forward, because I think if people have something to say, they have to say it. And if people disagree, they have to disagree. And if people aren't happy, they have to say and give the reasons why. And then they have to bring forward ideas of how to change it and how to improve it. Otherwise, it's very difficult for the team to know without that feedback, without that response. Yeah. So we have to see what happens. I mean, Monday is going to be a very important day. And we're losing volume now. And that's not good. So we have to see what happens.